So this is not the usual video that I normally do where you read articles and you read about, what someone else, is explaining to you. I'm gonna start making uh, more videos that are like this one because I'm gonna tell you about some real experiences here in Los Angeles and South LA that I know for myself. And I don't know if other people here, if they live in the area, have experienced this. But if you are one of the ones that received an email that you are in next in line to receive the COVID-19 vaccine, whether it be Moderna or Pfizer, and correct me if I'm mispronouncing those medications, but I believe that's what they're called. Um, Now, I received emails early on, like I say, like maybe about a month ago, hinting that some pharmacies might eventually get the vaccine and that they would get back to me when it's available. Now, I have not heard anything back yet. And so now what they've been doing is they've been vaccinating, I believe, healthcare workers and people who are city workers and like frontline people. And the frustration with all of this is when you get an email saying that you can click in there. There's a screen that pops up and it gives you, according to your zip code, the places that you can go and get vaccinated or receive your vaccine. But when you click in there, there's like a calendar and you're supposed to make an appointment. There are no appointments. It's crazy. It's the craziest thing. I've had this done like maybe 2, 3 times, and I went over and over and over and again, and then I click other later dates, like later, like okay, well, what about a month later or 2 months later? You don't see any appointments. Nothing you can click in to say, okay, I'm going to come at such and such a time. So, however, it does say there's a hotline at the bottom and you can call. And I believe you'd have to call to make the appointment. You tell them how frustrating it is and how you can't actually make an appointment online. You'd have to probably call to actually schedule your appointment. And they probably have to get your email information and probably then send you over a text or an email that you have a confirmation number or whatever you need to show proof. They have a list of things you need to bring showing that you have to show that you are a healthcare worker or you're that person that's supposed to be next for the vaccine. And so I believe if anybody's having these similar issues, I, see that a lot of that is here in South LA or in LA area where you can't get an appointment online. And so, you know, I haven't seen one. The first time I got it, I hadn't seen one. And then it always tells you in the beginning, it says if you don't have anything showing you're a healthcare worker or you're not actually in fact a healthcare worker, it says that don't make an appointment. But I think that people make appointments anyway, even though they're not supposed to be the ones getting the vaccine. Maybe they're using somebody else's ID or identification saying they're a healthcare worker. I don't know how they're doing it because I don't know if they could check all of that, really thoroughly. Because usually people will have a badge with their picture on it, and that could tell you right there. But who knows? Maybe they're able to fake it and somehow get through there. Or when they show up, they just give them the shot anyway because they've already made the appointment. And the person's already in their car, they're in line to get that shot. I don't know that they're turning people away that don't in fact have identification saying that they're who they are. And so that is the thing that is so frustrating, because I'm thinking that maybe people are coming from other areas that aren't supposed to be in those areas. They're not even a healthcare worker. They're just somebody trying to cut in line they're trying to rush to get the vaccine. Now, I've been hearing some on a positive note that the deaths are starting to drop. I guess maybe because the vaccine, more people are getting vaccinated, and so maybe whatever's in this vaccination medication, it is now starting to take effect where the deaths are not as high. But I believe people who are not vaccinated or who are still like unprotected, or they're still gathering, or they're not really thinking about getting any vaccination, and they're still going on like normal, that surge is probably happening. And with this new variant they're talking about, it's supposed to be more contagious. So it's probably running through maybe the other people who either are more vulnerable individuals, and so of getting sick or whatever. And so that's what I noticed. Yeah, so there's a screen that comes up, and so I received it on my email, and I click in there, and it says you can make an appointment. And people who are in certain professions, you click in there, and it'll run you through the steps, and then it'll send you to where a calendar is. And you're thinking, okay, it's running me through, and so maybe I'll be able to make an appointment. As soon as you see it down there, it says nothing available. You go to the next month later, nothing available. You go 3 months down the way, nothing available. So that's probably what people are complaining about. So I believe they have vaccinations for now. They're saying, I think, for people who are food workers, and I think that people who are teachers are like, they had everything color coded. I believe they had green, color red, color, they had different colors letting and they list out what the professions are and who's next to get the vaccine. And so that's probably the more frustrating part. And so that is probably the more frustrating part. But it would be nice too if they start to post. I think they're talking about that actually. Areas that are higher risk of people getting COVID, if they start posting those areas so that people know, if you go to those areas, if they're high trafficked areas or areas where people, like lots of people gather, that they're showing it actually at, I believe they were showing it on a news, that there were places where there were high infectious areas. If they start saying that more often, people might avoid those places, because that, is a place where they might end up getting it. And so anyway, yeah, so this video, I don't know if you have gotten any emails saying that, the vaccine is near, and that they will keep you informed when it's available. The other pet peeve I have is, okay, so they're going through all of these steps for people to get this vaccination. I don't know why they don't just start opening it up to areas that are high risk areas, and then areas where people maybe don't have a lot of health care, or and just really try to make it a priority to get the vaccine in those areas, and then start going to places where maybe people, general, just general places where people don't have access to internet, and or maybe even if they have access to internet, people who, like my situation, they can't get an appointment, and they might be in an area where it could be a high risk as well. So it's like, I don't know why they don't have some other solution to this, because it is frustrating, because to receive an email saying that you're next and you can't get an appointment. The other thing is, what about if you're living in a environment where you're around a lot of family members and they're not getting their shot? And so I was thinking I just wait until they start opening up for the general population of people. But that might be crazy, because if we're having so much trouble just for people who are not looked at as just everybody in their healthcare workers or specific workers per se, then how is it going to look when they say, okay, now we're opening it up to everyone? It's probably going to be pretty crazy. So I'm hoping that maybe they'll have more organization or structure in as to how to alert people where to go. Because I don't think everybody's going to want to get the vaccination shot necessarily, because some people are still not really sure if it's safe, because they've been hearing about, like, Moderna. They recalled Moderna and they said that it had some adverse effects. People were having allergic reactions to it. And so that might, cause people to not want to get vaccinated because of fear of that. And then maybe people are still holding on to their conspiracy theories or whatever. So, having said that, yeah, so I don't know, have you had these issues? Anyway, having said that, I'm going to let this video go into the next video, but that is the thing now, is trying to get vaccinated, trying to get an appointment, and trying to get in there, and you just can't get in there, no matter how many times you click, how many times you refresh your page to see if you can go back in there and make it, but it just doesn't happen. It doesn't work out like that. But anyway, thanks for listening.